Okay, so I just figured out that I thought Tiffany is an incest baby, and I think she might be handicapped. And she used to do this. She did this thing when I was a kid. I was walking on my way to school, and she didn't go to the same school as me because I was older than her. So I was the only one who went to school at the time. Yeah, I have serious acne all over my body. I'm breaking out, and I'm trying my best to like find a place to shower, but it's been near impossible. Okay. I guess. Yeah. No? Okay. Yeah, apparently she's like I remember this day where I went to walk to school. I didn't have any supervision, but it was literally like 3 buildings down the street that I lived on. So they would just like I don't think Susan ever walked me to school. I think she was supposed to. She never did. But I think everybody else in the neighborhood just called her lazy or like start to report to CPS about that. And the teacher even said that like I always showed up to school by myself, like nobody actually dropped me off there, which was kind of a big red flag for a lot of people. But yeah, so what Susan actually ended up doing was, I didn't know she was trying to hide this, but it's actually it's the same mother. So I was right about the mother being Tiffany's mother, so I thought she was her mom. It was right, but it wasn't Sean. It was Sean's brother. So Sean's brother and his sister had sex and had a baby, right? And he adopted her and raised her, and it was like it was his kid because it was his brother's kid. So it was his niece, right? That was Sean's niece, and he was looking after his niece. And he was hoping that people wouldn't find out or like still think that they went to overseas adoption or something like that. Didn't end up. And also the grandma had to tell me this, so Sean's mom had to tell me this, but she said that there's something wrong with Tiffany's mom, her name is Shion, so I don't know what her English name is, so we're gonna call her she for now. What is it? Shelly, there we go. We're gonna call her Shelly for now. Okay, so Shelly, there's something wrong with Shelly. And she said that her mom said the only thing she was able to do for her is to keep her out of prison, as within the time that she was alive and she was functional. So that's most of her looking after her was her making sure she didn't go to prison. I'm like, isn't that bad? And she's like, yeah, but there's something wrong with her. And I'm like, is there something wrong with the other thing? She's like, I think it impacted Sean's life heavily, his family life, his home life, but he's not a good guy. That's the thing. He's a bad person. And his brother seems like a nice guy, but he's actually, I don't know if anything's wrong with that guy, but she never actually talks about him ever. And I think that's what she's trying to say. Both of them are really bad people, and she don't think there's something wrong with her, but if she didn't do anything, she would end up in prison a long time ago. And there's another one, I don't know what she's like. I don't really know her very well. She seems like she doesn't really know what's going on. Like, she's kind of dumb. But yeah, I don't know, she's weird. But yeah, that woman went senile, so Shelly's mom is senile now. She's very old. She's very stressed out, and she doesn't really leave the house very often. And the only time she actually left the house was when I visited. And so, yeah, I thought it was Sean's kid. Turns out I was wrong about that. It's actually his brother's kid, but it is an incest baby. I thought it was his kid because he was looking after her like it was his kid, not like it was his niece. So I guess he did adopt her or something. I actually had nothing to do with their family. With me, I'm a separate thing from the rest of the family. And Sean and Susan photoshopped a lot of the pictures to make it look like we're related, because they didn't want people finding out that they adopted somebody, or like I don't think that was it. I think they didn't want people finding out that they didn't actually go through with adoption. They're doing something illegal, and it actually ended up being a kidnapping. So, yeah, I think that's what they were trying to prevent people from getting to know. But but yeah, other than that, I was like, I think he was trying to tell me that Preston, who's very, very, it's hot outside. It's not actually that hot, but it's really hot at the same time. And I'm like, I'm feeling quite under the weather. Ooh, what is that? Oh, as in like, I was really cold last night. Like, I thought I was gonna freeze to death. And then I woke up this morning and it was really hot, so I think I should rest. I might be having a little bit of a cold. I don't really want to move until I have to. That's why I'm conserving all my energy for. But yeah. Sean didn't do incest. He doesn't have any incest babies, but he supports that kind of stuff because he thinks that's his family. And he's a bad person. And he fucked up intentionally. So his intentions and goals surrounding me wasn't a good thing. And yeah, he was planning on raping me and forcing me to have his kid. So that was him. I think Renee might actually be Susan and Sean's kid. I think this happens frequently with adopting couples. Actually, like I hear this, like I've read about this a lot. Like when people can't conceive a child, like a couple can't conceive a child, they end up adopting. And when they adopt, a short period of time later, they actually are able to conceive their own child, which is weird. But yeah, yeah, she actually pushed me up a hill, and I was bleeding very heavily on my knee. And then I had to go to school after because it was a big scrape, and I was bleeding, and I had to go back home and get it cleaned up and bandaged. But I still had to like go to. It wasn't a big enough injury for me to like just miss school. So that's why I was like, do I have to go to school? And Susan was like, yeah, you do. This is not big enough of an injury for you to just stay here. And I'm like, I think at that age it should have been enough. Like if I had a kid and they had like a big scrape for the first time and it was bleeding heavily, I would be like, yeah, it's okay. Maybe you should take a break, or at least for like a few hours. Like maybe we'll call the teacher and say you'll be dropped off in like the afternoon or something. Because like you have a big scrape, or he or she has a big scrape. So I was like, yeah, I wouldn't really do that. But again, Susan never really looked after me. So